Morning, I'm going to do an insight video today, and again, I've been talking a lot about transformation and change over the last few weeks in transmutation, and I feel this is still very much going on for many people. A lot of it's around sort of cycles, it's about awakening, it's about releasing, it's about surrendering, it's about letting go. These are all sort of like stuff that we talk about, but how do these really impact us as like spiritual beings? Again, it's talking about sort of like using the universal wheel and the universal flow, accessing source energy. All of these things are tools that we've been given to access and remain sort of like within source energy and source light. It's about being centered, and centeredness is just it's not really sort of like being centered. Like when you talk about being centered, like what does that actually mean? Well, what it actually means is um, connecting your source energy, your source light. You're creating this kind of sacred space within your life where you can be more detached from like the 3D reality, the outer world. Again, we're talking about the universal law of correspondence and the universal law. So the universal law of correspondence, like I explained many times before, is the inner world. It's the inner blueprint. It's the source energy, the source light, the source creation that each and every one of us has within ourselves. And that universal law of correspondence teaches us and shows us that like our light, our energy, and the source energy, the source light, our spiritual essence that's within each and every one of us um, is what sort of manifests and creates and shifts and changes the outer reality. So once you can start to access that the universal law of correspondence, that inner sort of like sanctuary or that inner sort of light and energy, you can then start to create from there. And then what you start to do is you start to realize that this this power, this energy that you have, this consciousness, this source light and energy, you can use in a way to shift and change, and it's something that frees you. It doesn't sort of like it doesn't restrict you. There's no limitations in that source light, that source energy. It opens up your energy centers, it opens up your chakras, it opens up your energy field to allow you to walk and express your light and express your wisdom and express your spiritual truth. And this is what this time's about, and this is why a lot of us, I feel, are at present being directed. We're being directed more back into this like center, into this light, into this energy. It also works on another aspect where it opens up your energy channel to start to feel and sense the other dimensions, the other realms, the guides, the masters, the angels, and start to know that as you express and walk as that light, then you're also you're vibrating on a frequency where you're connected directly to different sort of ethereal realms, different sort of light vibration, light frequencies. And this is what this time's about. It's coming back. It's like coming back home. It's like coming back to what who we are, our spiritual essence, our spiritual truth, our spiritual. Um, yeah, again, it connects to like illumination, where I talked about like Lord Lanto in the last few days, and you know, when he was a master on the planet and he was walking this planet, he was illuminated with this spiritual energy, this spiritual light. But he wasn't the only one. All masters were illuminated. That's why they were called the illumined ones, because they were illuminated, because they were sort of they were illuminated with spiritual light, spiritual energy, and this is what drew people. This is what people were, you know, it resonated with them. It connected to them. They could feel that light, that energy, that sort of source light. This is like it wasn't just like Lord Lanto. It was the Ascended Master Jesus. It was all the Ascended Masters, Saint Germain, Almora, Serapis Bey. Many of the masters that walked on the planet had this light, this energy, and this source energy, and this is what each and every one of us are born with, and this is what this time's about. It's coming back to that source energy, allowing it to integrate within your physical body, so that your spiritual essence and your spiritual wisdom and your spiritual truth then becomes aligned with your physical body and your physical and your consciousness. And this is what this time's about. This is what the awakening is about. This is what ascension's about. And this is why many of us are sort of like coming back, or sort of like waking up to this kind of sense at the moment. Again, I've been talking about anchoring and integration, but anchoring is again sort of like it's opening up your consciousnous and your awareness to an understanding that you're a spiritual light, you're a spiritual being. You're not a physical being, you're a being of light. The physical body houses your soul and your spiritual light and your spiritual energy, but also your sort of like your consciousness also can activate and open up to your soul wisdom and your soul understanding, but it also brings again, allows you to walk as a spiritual being, but in spiritual truth, because this is what you are, this is who you are, this is what you are at your essence, this is what all beings are. And this is what I feel the masters, their teachings were showing us, that there's no separation, there's like one vibration, one frequency. And I keep talking about this notion of the law of one, and this is the kind of thing that we're being asked to awaken to. Know that you're supported. Know that these beings of light and these angels and the guides and the masters are not separate from you. They are you. They're exactly like you. We're all these spiritual beings. An ascended master is like an ascended being that exists in a dimension or a realm of light and energy that's not it's connected to the physical realm, but it's just a different sort of state of being. It's a different state of consciousness and awareness. And the ascended masters have walked in the physical life, and they mastered this physical life, and that's why they moved into a different dimension. But they're still here now, working with us to bring teachings and understanding and wisdom back to the planet, so that we can start to walk as these enlightened beings, or these illuminated beings. Enlightenment is just, for me, it's a state of consciousness where you awaken as a spiritual being. And enlightenment is something that you go through all the time. It's learning, it's being aware, it's having senses and the awareness that that communication and these infinite beings of light and these infinite angelic beings and these archangels that work with us are around us. And sort of like the more that we're sort of open to it, the more we start to receive. And again, the universe works on everything's balanced. So everything should be sort of like, balance is about like an exchange to a degree. You need to open up to receive. It's like everything works in perfect balance. Everything in life is a perfect balance. If things feel out of balance, it's either by how we're approaching it, or we're not. We're sort of like, we're not approaching it, or we're not using our energy or our consciousness in a way that we're not seeing how the universe is unfolding, or how the universe is actually we're not receiving something, because either we've tuned out to it, or we're not looking at the situation in the right way. And if that comes up, then we need to start looking at it differently. But the universe is always providing. The only thing that stops the flow of the universe is our physical minds, and when we become attached to the external world, the outer world, if we become attached to like the material world, or if we become limited. And we become limited in lots of different ways when we start to attach, or start to sort of like create from a materialistic place, or from the 3D reality, starting to see the external world as the true reality. And this is what we're being sort of like shown, is that we're infinite beings of light and energy and consciousness, and we're not limited. And actually, we're creating our own reality. We're creating our own sort of our lives, our experiences. We're creating them, but we also have an opportunity again, and this is where our Mora comes in again, with the divine will and the divine intelligence. It gives us the understand. This energy gives us the understanding that we can shift and change reality, and we can also shift and change. And we have a choice. We have a choice of how we experience things. There's always with the source energy. The source energy brings this unconditional light, unconditional consciousness and awareness. And we have to approach life in that way. We have to see that There is no barriers, there's no blocks, there's no hurdles to get over really. When life comes, we can experience it, and we can approach it from an unconditional way. And when we start to do that, we open up our energy to receive. We receive the guidance, we receive the understanding, we receive the insight and the wisdom. And again, this is where the universal law of inspired action comes into play, because it's inspired action is the place where we access our sort of like our source energy, our source light. We open up our channel and we start to receive that wisdom and that understanding, one from our soul, but also from the spirit world, and the spiritual beings that are giving us these insights and this understanding, this wisdom. And inspired action is acting upon it and starting to create from that place. And this is what, again, the illumination is about. Illumination is shining wisdom and spiritual wisdom and spiritual understanding and awareness on each aspect and each experience of our life. And this is what the masters did, and this is why they become illumined ones, and this is why they moved from this plane to another plane, and this is why they're still with us now, because they've walked on this plane, and they've managed to master it, and now they're here for each and every one of us as a collective, and they're coming back here to work with us, so that we can master this lifetime, and we can go back, or we can go on to sort of like different dimensions and different dimensional expression and experience, but also different dimensions where we can then start to work as beings of wisdom and understanding, and to give back. And this is what Ascension's about. Ascension is about coming, moving through this process, coming back to the law of one, the law of the universal frequency of oneness. Is coming back to that, knowing that we're not separate. And each and every spiritual being and teacher and universal teacher knows this, and they know that everything is part of the whole. There is nothing separate, and they teach from an unconditional way of pure sort of like harmony, balance, love, unity, oneness. They teach from that place because they know that that's their essence. That's what they are, and this is what all of us are, and this is what we're trying to awaken to now. Again, universal law of transmutation and transformation. Transformation is such a big one at the moment. I feel a lot of us are going through old cycles, old habits, and we're being asked to let go of those at the moment. As I'm sitting there and talking about this now, I see a beautiful golden light. Golden light to me is source energy, source wisdom, but it also connects to like healing, and connects to like alchemy, creation. And I've also got this beautiful sort of like a being's just turned up, or I feel like there's something that's just stepped forward, like a feeling, and that this being has long blonde hair and a long blonde beard. So long hair is energy, beard is wisdom and understanding, and also it's this sort of like being that stepped forward is dressed completely in white. So it's high awareness, high understanding, purity, clarity, truth, understanding. All those things go into white. White is like such a high vibrational frequency colour, and I feel like something's just stepped forward as I'm talking about this. And again, when I get these kind of feelings, I sometimes try and work them out, but I've been sort of guided more and more with spirit to be telling me not to try and work out what it is, accept what's being given, express it, pass it on, give it. But I also feel sort of like when I feel these kind of beings, or like feel these kind of sort of like start to connect with this being step forward, they always seem to have blue eyes as well, like piercing blue eyes. Whenever I see these kind of sort of like guys, these really crystal like blue eyes, and they step forward. But I also feel like they are connected to you, but I also feel it's like it's an opening to your higher awareness and higher aspect of self, like the higher self, or the infinite self. And this is what the masters want to bring us, and this is what the masters want to try and pass on to us, and all teachers want to pass on to us, that you are part of an infinite source energy of light and creation. You're not separate, and each and every one of us have access to that, and we walk and we incarnate, and we sort of come down and we're reborn onto this plane of existence for that reason, to awaken and to bring that light, that energy, that wisdom to this place at this time, because it's about us shifting and changing our consciousness of collectively of the planet, but helping the planet to shift and change and transform into a place of spiritual sort of understanding, spiritual wisdom, spiritual truth. And this is why I keep saying about spiritual truth. It's so important, and this is why we've come down here. You know, the old notion of like the Garden of Eden, and you know they talk about sort of like in biblical sort of terms. I always see that as, you know, this Earth, this planet can be that kind of Eden. It can be that kind of you know, beautiful place of like vibrancy, energy, light, awareness, love, harmony, peace, balance. It can be all those things. We can create all those things. Each and every us are not limited. Each and every one of us have that ability, and it's about us awakening to it and walking as and expressing that light. And that's what I feel that's really want to sort of like be talked about today, is about transformation, but also about sort of letting go and also awakening and activating and coming back to our spiritual truth and our spiritual essence. And all these readings are about spiritual truth, and your spiritual truth is that we're all light beings, and we all have this source energy and source light of creation, and we're all part of the same vibration and frequency. We're all one. Whether it's the spirit world or the infinite dimensions of light and energy, we're all part of that, because we're all at our essence the same as that. The only difference is they're disembodied and they've mastered this plane, and we're embodied and we're walking on this plane. But we've come down for a reason. Each and every one of us have come for that mission, is to awaken and bring conscious understanding and spiritual wisdom and spiritual truth to this time and this age. And this is why we're all here, and this is why we've incarnated. They're part of their sort of the ascended masters, part of the universal sort of like evolution, is that they are over there. They've made a contract to be here and still work with us, because they know that, you know, we're all part of the same vibration. We're all part of the one vibration, and they're here to bring the wisdom and the understanding and the awakening to each and every one of us. And they're happy to do that in service, and we're down here doing our part of service and part of that plan and that evolution and that expansion. Is each and every one of us has made a pact to come down here, awaken and ascend, and bring light and energy back to this planet, bring light and energy back to this time, so it can be aligned and it can be open again, and it can start to align again once again with all the different sort of universal frequencies, the universal dimensions, the spiritual dimensions of the infinite sort of like universe, infinite light and creation of source creation. And each and every one of us has come down for that reason, and that's each and every one of our missions, and that's why we're awakening now. It's bringing us back. And I always talk about Atlantis at this time, because Atlantis was a very highly evolved spiritual time, and they used crystals and they used crystal chambers where they travelled to different dimensions and different sort of realities, and they were open to all these infinite teachers and these infinite masters. But we can go back to that time. Well, it's not even that we can go back to it. We still have the ability, and we have the energy, and we're anchoring in the energy now to be like that again, to be open and connect with these infinite realms and these infinite sort of beings of light, wisdom, understanding. And this is what we're all here for. That's the insight for today. Check out my Facebook page, like, follow, comment, yeah, and you can do that on my Facebook page, Spiritual Awareness and Insight. Have a great day.